while because it'll give you more.
Welcome. Oh my goodness. I am so grateful to have this opportunity to bathe in the wondrousness that is us, because it's something magical when Amber and Anasuya come together. So I am thrilled to record it, to capture it, and to share some of our juiciness with the world. And I am thrilled. So welcome, 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 Amber, to my heart of today's heart, because she's constantly evolving like I am. So the me of today welcomes the you of today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That feels really good.
Yes. So I'm drinking this nice Ayurvedic tea that is so much better with honey. Otherwise, it kind of tastes like mud, but it's so good for me.
That's right. Drink it up. Drink that witch's brew.
That's right. So, which is in a mug of one of my paintings, thanks to Samaya Wisdom Yates. So wow. I just get to remember that I can be a mug.
Can we see that mug again?
Yeah, sure. So that's part of it. And the head's a little cut off of the woman, but she's flying, she's soaring up a mountain, over a mountain. And it says, love who you are and soar.
How perfect is that? So are your viewers able to order prints of this cup, their own Anasuya mug?
Yes, they are. And when I post this beautiful recording, I will also post the link to it, because my friend Wisdom Yates created these mugs as part of a fundraiser for my health challenges. Well, no, not for my challenges, for the payment of my health challenges remedies. There you go. So you can not only have this, but there's also a wonderful journal with a very different image that people are loving. So between the mug and the notebook journal, you can have a little piece of my art. And support me in my ongoing healing, because Lord knows it takes a long time when you did the kind of damage that I did. Mm-hmm. Rebirthing costs money. There you go. Right. So yes, I'm drinking, and I didn't even make the connection up to what we're talking about today, which is loving ourselves. Really, women in particular. Everyone needs this lesson, because nothing about our systems of governing, our systems of culture, nothing about the way that we are, the environment that we're in, encourages self-love. Absolutely nothing for anybody. But today we're focusing on how women can and must love themselves and see ourselves as the whole, complete, enough ones that we are, despite the message that we constantly get that we're not enough at all, not enough fill in the blank, not enough smart, not enough cute, not enough tall, not enough thin, not enough blonde, not enough rich, not enough fill in the blanks, in a too much world. And given the way the world is too much, there's too much war, there's too much violence, there's too much scarcity, there's too much lack, there's too much hunger. I mean, there's a lot of too much in this world, and we do feel this big in the face of this world. It's like, I'm not enough for all of these problems. So that's two of the messages we get. And we also get the message that we're too much, we're too loud, we're too feisty, we're too bossy, we're too dominating, we're too assertive, we talk too much, laugh too loud, walk too straight, walk too proud, whatever. We're too much for a world that wants us to be this big, So that's the dichotomy and the schizophrenia that that's a silent, secret water we're swimming in and don't know it. We're all fish in this ocean of not enough, too much. And we don't know it, but it's time we get the heck on out of this one and get into the ocean of bliss, let's do that. Because we deserve to be free of all of these labels that actually constrain us.
A woman.
Yes. So that's the topic of today. And I didn't even connect it to my mug, but good on me for accidentally, unconsciously, or being spirit driven, pick this mug out of all the mugs I could have picked. So I want to get straight to your take on too muchness, because one of the things I want to celebrate today is this beautiful song that you've written for women about their enoughness. And so maybe you can tell me a little bit, like, what caused you to write it, what inspired you. I know there was a divine download in there. Tell me more about that, because this is fascinating. We've been on this conversation, you and I, for months, on just all these aspects of how to be in this world, how to bring about more justice, how to bring about more equality, how to decolonize our minds, our mouths, and our hearts and our bodies. So we've all been in many ways, we've explored this conversation from many angles. But now you've got the song that captures a lot of what we've been talking about. So I want to hear, how did it come to be?
Well, thank you for having me here. Thank you for your generosity of spirit and for hearing the through line in the song, for resonating with it. Um,
I couldn't help it. It just
yeah.
hits me in the heart and said, oh, she's singing me to me. you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have spent a lot of time with women in women's circle experiences as a facilitator, a red thread guide. And I also just grew up in a family of women. I have three sisters and I have two nieces and I have two nephews too. But there's so many women around me, and one of the things that I consistently have seen and noticed is our tendency towards self-deprecation,
Mm.
towards tearing ourselves down, comparing ourselves to other people, and constantly having a feeling of poverty, like poverty within. I don't mean that like as a literal, but I mean sometimes that's true, but I mean like a poverty of being, constantly feeling like exactly what you said. You don't have enough, you're not doing enough, you're not seen enough. Um, and along with that, to make it even worse, to add insult to injury, pathologizing ourselves
Yes.
for being human, for having emotional responses.
Say it again.
For
Pathologizing.
That's
Say
right.
it for the people in the back row.
Right.
Pathology is not a good thing to have, guys.
Right. Pathologizing ourselves, and to break that down into basic terms, um, it's like gaslighting ourselves in a way emotionally
Yeah.
for having responses, having the natural, the fair, the I would say like the dignified emotional responses to where we find ourselves in the experience we're having inside of late stage neoliberal white supremacist
Woo.
capitalism. You know,
I feel some preaching going on. Yes,
you know what
Kenway,
I'm
come
talking
at it.
about.
Kenway, come at it. That speak on it. Woo, preach.
So when you feel overwhelmed, if you feel constantly like you're grieving, if you
Women.
feel like you can't find the motivation to get through the day, or struggling with depression or anxiety or any of those things, which a lot of women in the communities around me have struggled with, I think that those are the results of the structure that you're inside of. And yet so many women pathologize ourselves, and we're told to locate ourselves inside of that, like we are the problem. We're just not mentally strong enough. We don't have a strong enough will. We're not motivated enough.
There's
We're
that.
just not taking enough care of ourselves.
Not more, not enough. All those are not enough, people. All of those are not enough.
So it's the pathologizing, and then it's on to treat that. We often start to get into the do more mode. Okay, well, I'm gonna take another training, take another course. I'm gonna help more people. I'm gonna make my body better. I'm gonna, make myself more presentable. I'm going to do this and this and that and that. And so instead of giving rest to the nervous system, which is what is needed when we are in places of struggle and grief that requires
Yes.
witness and care, we end up basically driving ourselves into more exhaustion and more overwhelm and fatigue, in order to, because we're listening to that voice that's telling us that we're not enough. We're obeying that voice, and therefore we're doing damage to ourselves through the actions we take because of that voice. And so this song, to sum it all up, the song is called There's Something Right With You, came from a moment where I was in a circle of women and I felt so strongly to say to them all the, about all the stuff that had just been shared, where there was a lot of stuff about failure, about I'm not doing this and I'm not good enough at that and I just can't seem to, it's just not working out. And I was like, we all need to claim what is right with us. Like, we really need to say it.
Yes.
What is right with you? And even those emotional responses that you're having, and even the depression that you might feel, or the anxiety or the grief, we need to be able to claim those things as right and good
Yes.
expression,
Yes.
because we have open hearts, because we haven't closed off, because we're not allowing ourselves to die emotionally in this world, that therefore we will feel this world. We will feel,
Yes. Feel
and we
it,
can't pathologize ourselves for that.
feel it, and fully be in it.
Yeah.
Because we can't fully be here and be here now if we don't feel. We can't cement ourselves just to survive it. We can't cement ourselves to stop feeling the pain and to numb ourselves. That's not the way. It's not the way.
Yeah, and I think it's a big thing I noticed too is repressed anger, particularly in white women, where it's like this rage. And we talked about this the other day. There's this rage, but what happens is a lot of, and I'm generalizing, but a lot of the white-skinned, white-bodied women that I've journeyed with, there's a compression of that anger and that rage that can turn into debilitating anxiety, debilitating fear and depression.
Anxiety, depression, and it also becomes a very distinctive type of bitterness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every woman has this, but the way that it comes through the white-bodied woman, especially in America, is particularly lethal and dangerous and has been used as a weapon.
Yeah, and for the person experiencing internalized like rage, or even the deep self-deprecation that can come when we can't locate what's really truthfully the cause
Yes.
of our grief and our anger and our pain, and we can't express it in community together and hold it. Yeah, it can become lethal, and it can also, for the person in that experience, it ends up cutting you off from joy. It cuts you off from being able to be fully expressed and to experience
Yes.
that
Yes.
rightness within you.
Yes. And it's my this is so good. Okay. So many thoughts at one time. My co-leader in the upcoming course, Unapologetically Too Much, because we pathologize ourselves and we apologize for ourselves always. So this class is this 6-session class is all about stopping apologizing, stopping pathologizing, and becoming unapologetically who we are. Good, bad, right, wrong, up, down, weak, whatever we are, it is so. And so my partner Liz is a somatic teacher, and she really talks about how the body in different cultural and social and racial groups responds differently to the trauma we're all going through. We're all going through trauma. We all have it rough. I am not saying any group is better than the other or worse off in terms of, well, in some ways there are, but right now I'm speaking in general. Women are how we're internalizing it is that this outside belief system that we have internalized cuts us off at the second chakra or our sacral level or our womb area. So if you don't believe in any other system, you know you got a womb, you know you got a vagina, you know you got a part of you that is that could potentially or has held life. That is also a system in place that not only gives life to a physical human being, but it also is our creative energy. It is the source of our all creations that turn into manifestations. It is the source and the cauldron or the sacred womb or the container where we can bring new things into being. And so when we have that part of us cut off with guilt, shame, um, anxiety, depression, when we have that cut off, then everything below it, including our legs and feet and our connection to the earth, our connection to the core, our connection to life itself, our connection to our role in Mother Nature, our connection to our role in the all that is, when we get that cut off, then we not only stop our ability to create solutions, create pathways, create new beings of existence, we cut that off. And we also cut off the source of joy that's down there, that wonderful, oh my goodness, can I put that? Yes, that wonderful magical spot colored clitoris, which has over 60,000 nerve endings. It's only there for joy and pleasure. Mm-hmm. And yet, we've been taught to feel shame about that or guilt about that or feel like, don't talk about that, don't say it out loud, which is why I even hesitate. I'm like, can I say that? And I'm like, right, I can say it's my show. So, but it's also a fact. I mean, we're talking anatomy here. We're not talking anything untoward. But when we cut off from even feeling pleasure there in a spot literally created by the divine for only pleasure, then what happens? Our heart shuts down, because it has no access to the pleasure. We have no access to joy because we've been cut off at the waist and below. We're not grounded. We're not here. So of course we feel vulnerable, because anybody not grounded in the truth of who we are, not able to feel joy and passion and guilt-free, not able to express ourselves and to create and birth new things into the world, our heart is sad. Our heart is broken. Our heart is completely lost at sea. It's like a balloon, it's not anchored, it's like floating and just
it's kind of what they call a vicious cycle, because
completely a vicious circle.
The emotional shutdown that can happen for a lot of women, especially we have there is a seriously high incidence of depression and anxiety in women, especially in the United States and Canada. Let's call it the West and the North of the North.
Yes.
There's
Western woman.
Yeah, there's the depression and anxiety and neuroses that.
Yes, let's add the word neuroses. Yes.
And they're so isolating. And so that isolation, there's suffering. There's actually suffering occurring, and repetitive thoughts that are very self-deprecating,
yes,
very, very harmful to the precious being of you. And there's constant harmful thoughts going through. And so that cuts you off from your libido. It cuts you off from being able to experience pleasure. And it's often because it's associated with shame. These cycles that we can spin out in with depression, anxiety, anger, fear that gets compressed and turned inward, it does also create this baseline feeling of shame, like we're ashamed of ourselves. And so
guilt and shame, guilt and shame, guilt and shame.
You're exactly right about the not being able to access pleasure and joy, and that's part of that cycle. And then it creates more of that cycle, because when you can't access pleasure and you're not able to actually move energy through, right? Move energy through your body because you're open, and these cycles just, they go round and round and round.
Yes.
And I know that we both have experienced this in our own lives.
Absolutely.
We've felt these feelings. I can honestly share that, I've had a lifelong, I don't want to call it a battle. I've had a lifelong relationship with shame that, has taken me many years to really figure out how to heal. And a lot of it had to do with just what Anasuya is talking about, and I am about being able to say what's right with me, what's beautiful about me,
yes,
what is worthy about me, and to extirpate myself from the mindset of the systems and structures I was born into that basically inculcated me to think that way about myself in the first place. So it's a disentanglement from the overculture.
Absolutely. And that's why I love what will be teaching in our class, because being a somatic healer, she's all about reconnecting us in our bodies, feeling our skin, feeling our muscles, feeling again, unnumbing ourselves through the rewilding process. And rewilding us to, which means getting back into that fundamental animal nature of feeling, of smelling, of being connected, of knowing our place in the world, that knowing about the cycle of life and being part of it, actively part of it. So, she will be leading all of the sessions of dance and play and fun and joy, so that we can feel again and get back into reconnecting our lower half with our upper half. And our vagina, has a nerve that goes from the top of our head to right through to our vagina, which is the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve represents the nerve that is parasympathetic. So that means it's the one that is emotionally dealing with the world outside of itself. We have all kinds of nerves, but that one major nerve connects us to the world. So it either connects us or disconnects us. It either has us feel traumatized or loved and embraced. It is the nerve that is constantly responding to what people are giving us, microaggressions, abuse, all of that, all those things, including love and joy and passion, that's come from, it's the nerve that's handling all of that. And that nerve runs up from the vagina to our voice box, right through the heart. And so when we're cut off, when the vagus nerve is cut off, there's a cementing that happens to us. And we don't even know it. We don't even know how much our bodies can't move, how inflexible we are, how rigid we become, how stuck in our ways we become, because we have cut off that which will give the juiciness, the succulence, the warmth of it, the yum yum. It's been cut off. So it's really about getting back in to our bodies, back into our hearts, back into, because when we cut off our vagina womb area, we lose our voice. We can't speak up for ourselves. We can't say what we need. We're afraid to speak up. Our voice becomes really tiny or silent. It silences us, those traumas that we have in our heart silences us. So when we can't speak, that's another way that we're creating. It's another way we're giving birth to things. That's another way we're speaking life into existence. And so when we have that vagus nerve damaged, we're cut off from both of our ways of expressing and communicating and birthing. And that's a woman's power. So to get our power back, we have to reconnect our vagus nerve, the whole canal of it, and get back in our bodies. And so let's hear your song. It's just time to hear your song now, so that people will know what we're talking about, in terms of how your song is an invitation to get back into our bodies, into our hearts, into our self-love, into our self-kindness. I could say so much, but let you listen to an audience and you see what you see, and hear, more importantly, what you feel. So here is Amber Samaya with her beautiful song, There's Something Right With You, because there is.
something right. Oh, and I see you stand for the sacred, and I know you get weary and tired and feel naked, but oh, there's something right with you and all you do, right with you. I'll hold your tears, you can hold mine, and we'll access great love as we stay on the line. 'Cause there's something right with me and with you. Oh, oh. There's something right with you, woman. There's something right. There's something right with you, woman. There's something right. Oh, 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 there's something right. Sacred warrior, sacred warrior, sacred warrior, warrior woman. There's something right with you and all that you do. Oh, there's something right with you, right with you, right with you. There's something right with you, right with you, right with you. Something right. Something right. There's something right.
Oh, just let that sink in. Thank you. Thank you for writing our song. May every woman hear it on this planet. May every daughter hear it on this planet. May every grandmother who never heard it hear it. May all women know how very right they are, just as they are, and just as they are not right now. Thank you.
The invitation to share, to pay it forward to the women in life who have invested so much love and care and nurturance into me to help me see what was right with me as well and to live that way. And I can provide you with the lyrics, Anasuya, if you want to share them when you share this.
I really would. Because I really would like it to sink in every way possible, through the ears, through the eyes, through the heart, through the womb. Like, let it get in there, like in all the cracks and crevices of our brokenness. Let it get into everywhere we see and think and believe we're broken. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a political thing. This is a political action when you can really recognize that the structures we're inside of that cause that self-pathologizing and that are also, like Anasuya said, when we're inside of systems of violence and scarcity, of course course we're struggling. Of course it's hard. Of course we're going to feel depressed and grief and anger. There's actually no other more human response, more human woman response you can
And it's the
have.
appropriate response,
That's right. And so
which is, go ahead.
I was gonna say, that's kind of the through line too. There's this political aspect to this song too that is about don't let the overculture do that to you. You know, it's actually not you. You are probably a person seeking love, community, beauty, connection, nonviolence,
Mm-hmm.
and so there's something right with you. But there's a lot of things that are very very violent and harmful in our world right now. And of course, there's so much beauty and there's so much amazingness, but you know, a lot. We're in the complexity.
Yes. You know, I was writing the other day, chapter for a book, and one of the sections of the chapter, and it may even become the name of the chapter, is Rage Becomes Her. Because we have a gazillion reasons to be enraged. And the fact that we're not walking down every street of this country, Canada, America, demanding restitution of our rights, the implementation of our full human rights, having a voice over what happens to us. The fact that we are not taking over congressional meetings, over Senate meetings, city council meetings, like all the levels of government, and demanding, rightness, to be acknowledged and seen in our rightness, that we're not going to school boards and demanding books for our children to understand and honor women, for boys and girls, that we're not demanding this. There's something not right about that. I want us to have, to be motivated and moved by and moved into social justice action by our rage, because it's a justified rage. And I don't want it to be destructive. I don't want it to be the kind where we hurt ourselves anymore, or we go out and hurt someone else because they did it. No, there's enough of that. We need to use our creative solution birthing capacities to dream up a better world and demand it and implement it. I want us to use our rage to fuel the solutions that will save us, save the planet, save the environment, save humanity, because as a whole, we're on a very self-destructive trajectory. And sadly enough, that's really being caused mainly by those in the West, and everyone else has to deal with our actions, And so, let us remember how much is right with us. And if we can create joy, great. And if we need to go through the stages of grief, which has anger in it, because we have to also grieve what's been stolen from us, what's been taken from us, what's been denied us, all the lies we've been told, all the lies we've believed, all the ways that we internalized it. There's some grieving work too.
Yeah, and with that, there's like an opening for joy and laughter
Exactly.
and release. Releasing the tight places, releasing those like coiled in places within yourself, and then they uncoil. And when that happens, and that you feel your feelings, and you can connect with your whole body again. And this is where somatic practices are so valuable. It changes everything. Changes
Oh,
everything.
this is what's needed. We have to go through the rage, we have to go through the grieving, we have to go through the sadness, we have to go through the mourning, we have to go through the creating something new to get back to joy. But the joy is going to come from being in action. It's not from mentally thinking about it. We have to be in action, taking action that leads to our fulfillment, our self-defined fulfillment. No one can tell us what we need, what it takes for us. We have to define our own fulfillment and actively pursue it. And that is what brings the joy. That's what brings the passion. That's what brings the laughter. That's what brings the dance. That's what brings the 64,000 nerve endings to a orgasmic flow in our lives. You know, we deserve a juicy, succulent, orgasmic life. You know, we deserve that.
I
It's
love
time we
that.
go claim it.
Yeah, and even beyond deserving, for me, it's like it's our capacity. We have the capacity for it. We were literally born. Every human being was born with the capacity for pleasure, the capacity for
Yes.
joy, the capacity for great love and intimate relationships and laughter. And I
Mm,
know that we want every human being to know more of those capacities within themselves.
that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
and I also wanted to say, I wanted to sort of speak directly to those who are gender nonconforming and to trans women who may not biologically have a womb. That um, being at that intersection means that you receive the same discrimination and challenges
Mm,
that women receive. So I also want to just like welcome you into the circle of
thank
receiving
you.
this
That's so
message,
great to add that.
and yeah, and just being honored in that identity that you hold that carries the same kind of stuff. So
Same kind of longing, the same kind of capacity to birth new solutions. You know, like I said, that we have two magnificent ways, vagina and the voice. And those who are non-gender conforming or trans have the ability to birth it right through their hearts and through their voice in the same way that we are, and honor that power, honor the pleasure that comes through your voice, honor the joy that comes through your voice, honor the grief and sorrow that comes through your your voice, because that is what connects us. That's what will have my heart flow to you and your heart flow to mine, because we can connect um, through the places we've been broken, places we've been hurt, and the places where we let love in.
that's right.
You know, we can
Mm.
connect that way. And I totally feel the oneness with all ways that the divine sacred feminine is dishonored in all of us. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a universal divine sacred feminine energy, feminine uh, force of nature, a feminine force of expressing divinity and goodness and mercy and compassion that has been belittled, called all kinds of derogatory, demeaning names and denounced. And those are the very things that are going to save us. Empathy is
Yes.
going to save us. Compassion is going to save us. Generosity is going to save us. Um,
The erotic is going to save us.
Erotic is going to save us. And those are all feminine qualities. Well, you know what? Those are badass qualities. Those are the ones that make life and make life worth living.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm all about that.
Mm. I know you are. I know you are. It's beautiful. And I'll say there's one line of the song where it's, I will hold your tears and you can hold mine, and we'll access great love as we stand on the line. There's something right with you, and you will take my hand, and I will take yours, and we'll walk past the borderlands, and we'll restore power with to our children's hands. There's something right with you. And I
Yes.
really want to say, like, this is also for the future generations. We want to stand whole. We want to be not whole as in complete, but whole as in what we like to say in our intentional creativity community, healed enough and here and present, able to feel the capacity of what we can feel. And for me, it's just really important to be in this together, and as women to be the ones that remind each other there's something right with you. You know, if you hear someone you love, especially like a woman that you love, berating herself, being down on herself, comparing herself, canceling herself out from possibilities.
Feeling bad about herself, saying, giving a list of all the things that's wrong with her body, with her voice, with her thoughts, with her ideas. Whew.
If you see that, honey, intervene.
Intervene, stop that.
Intervene
Just say,
with
I,
love.
with love, just say, you know what? Don't talk about my friend like that. You
There's
know,
something right with you.
there's something right with you, and let's go down. Come on. Let's start with what you're grateful for. Let me tell you what I'm grateful for about you. Let me tell you all the ways that you're wonderful and amazing in your ordinariness and in your extraordinariness. But you don't get to put yourself down in my presence. I may not be able to stop you in your own home, in your own mind, but I'll be darned if you're going to do that with me. And I do that all the time with my friends. I say, there's no space for your junk here. Now, if you want to say you want to get rid of that feeling, if you want to say, I'm calling you because I want to just dump it, I might not want to be your garbage bag at that moment, but I will be there for you to say, I want to move through and transcend this feeling of unworthiness. I know it's incorrect, but it's so strong. I'm believing it. Can you help me unbelieve it? All right, then you can call me because I'm down for that. Yes. Yes.
Good boundaries. I love it. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it.
I don't want to be the dump bucket. Nope.
Yeah.
Don't call
So,
and vomit.
Anasuya, I have to ask you, what's something right with you?
Okay, thank you for asking. No one's ever asked me that before. So, but I'm delighting in having to think of it. So let me, no, I don't have to think of it. Let me just get present too. Okay. So what's right about me is that I'm constantly willing to learn, constantly willing to see my errors and correct them, even if it takes me a lot of resistance. I eventually get there to correcting them. What's right about me is that I love people and I do my best to make sure they can feel it and know it, that it's genuine. What's right about me is that I celebrate others, whether they celebrate me or not, because it's not about if I do this for you, you do for no, 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 no. I celebrate others because I think they're beautiful and I'm so grateful they're in my life. Like you in this song. Yes.
I love it.
You know, this is like that thing hit me so hard in the most beautiful way. And I'm like, what's right about me is that I'm able to even feel again. Because for years I was numb. For years I didn't believe in love. For years I didn't think anything good was going to happen to me because I had a series of horrific things happen that just one of them should have killed me. But there were several. And so I had become hardened because I just couldn't take, it was too much sorrow, too much suffering, too much heartache, too much heart shattering. And then last year, my body shattered. So it's like, oh, there's nothing left here. I'm shattered it all. Um, I didn't think this was possible to choose again and will myself to live and find some reason to live. So that's something right about me is going through all of that and still saying, okay, I'm choosing to live with the brokenness, with the damaged parts, with the things that I don't recognize. There's so much about me I don't recognize right now. Okay, this is who I am right now. This is what I'm not right now. And I am choosing to learn how to love her. And that was very radical. And that is a revolution because that shit is hard, but necessary medicine. So that's what's right about me. A little bit of it.
Yeah, that's why we really need to support each other all the time and speak kindness to
Yes.
each other and invest in each other emotionally in that way with the reminders. Anasuya, you've sang that song. I am remembering
Yes.
who I am. And I think
Yes.
that's the song we can sing to each other, you know,
Yes.
to remember who we are and um, to cherish and to be kind to ourselves and each other
Yes.
at this time because we're holding a lot. So
We are. And that's it. That's the key. We have to let love lead us in all of our choices, starting with loving ourselves, welcoming ourselves, being kind to ourselves. When love is leading from that space of warmth and kindness to self, then everybody else will benefit from it because it'll naturally ooze out of us. We don't have to say, okay, I got to go love the demon today. No, but we can love the divine in that person that may be behaving in an ugly way. We can do that, but only when we love ourselves first. Yes. So as much as I'd like this to keep going and going, I'm very grateful for this time with you. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to have you share the story behind this beautiful song, have you shared the song. And I look forward to hearing how people are moved and touched by um, your music as I was, and I look forward to all the ways that we can help women to heal um, what we think is wrong with us, whether it's through the course unapologetically too much, or whether it's through your own practice of healing, which could be many things: meditation, dance, hot baths, soaking in a tub, walks, swimming in the ocean, whatever form of connectedness to the oneness with all that you are and that you love doing. Do more of that. Bring yourself joy. Move through your grief, move through your anger, move through your mourning, move through all the lies so you can get back to wholeness. Because we need you, women. We need you. The earth needs you. The environment needs you. Humanity needs you. You need you. So, because there's something right with you, woman. And if men want to join us in telling us how great we are as a living entity, as a wonderful being, we're going to celebrate you for doing that. Just know that, there's many rewards in honoring and uplifting women. You know, so join us. This isn't an only woman party. So thank you again for coming. Thank you for speaking your truth and sharing your heart and your art with us. Thank you, Amber Samaya Gould, for sharing how much there's something right with all of us.
mm-hmm.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
See you soon.